hi, hello. There we go. Let's see. Is that loud enough? I can't. Never done one of these kinds of setups before, so I'm not 100% certain. Just trying to make sure I'm set up here. Probably want some kind of noise going on in the background, right? I don't know if Sonic Colors is it, though. Let's see what we got. Let's try this. Whatever. We'll work with that for now. Alright, Strixhaven booster box. Fully sealed. On all 4, 6 sides? I can count. Jeez. Brush pack, dragon sealed sidewinders, dragon shield. Clearly I just don't care. Alright. So, despite the fact there's nobody here, I'm just gonna give it a shirt. Oh, Christ. Look, I've been in the hospital for like 13 hours over the past 2 days. I'm sorry. Brain's a little frazzled. Let's give this a start and see what we got. I pulled out my Muldrotha deck earlier to see if, I saw that Demonic Tutor was in the Mystical Archives segment of these cards. So I wanted to see if I remembered correctly about my own tutor, but I've got a Grim Tutor, not a Demonic Tutor. So if I get Demonic Tutor, that's just a straight upgrade. Plus, it's worth like $100. So, I mean, that'll be nice. Alright, let's get right into it. I'm not going to waste much time on this. I have not done much with Strixhaven. So, oh, jeez. Yeah. Alright, it's hard to see, but I actually did put that in a container. I know it looks like I just put it on the floor. Ugh, good lord. It's a little bit messy. Forgive me. Forgive me. Usually I've got a box here that I put stuff in. I just don't have that today. Alright, whatever. Ignore that. Let's see if I can't. There we go. There, now you don't got to worry about it. Alright. Strixhaven, School of Mages. So, the way I normally do it, I don't know how other streamers do this, I don't really care, is I'm going to pull all the cards out, and I use this to just kind of contain the bulk majority. If people start pouring in, I've also got a double Masters box that I was planning on doing later. Actually, I should probably put this up here. Pull that out. And I'll put this, move. Let's keep that out of your guys' way, if I can help it. Alright. Alright. Let's get started. See what we got. Secret Lair promo. Alright, now, I'm going to go over these cards because I haven't seen much, if anything, of this set yet. So if you're already familiar with all the commons, the uncommons, I have been a little out of date since I didn't play any of Ikoria. So I think since Ikoria, I am totally just unabashedly ignorant of all the new cards. So, that is not doing a good job at catching that. Yeah, it's not autofocusing. Alright, that sucks. Let's see if I can't fix that. Let's see. Ah, there's no zoom or focus on it. That's nice. Alright, well, I guess I'm just going to have to make do with what I got. Alright, so, cram session. 1 in a black or a green, or Golgari hybrid, for 4 life and learn. So you can reveal a lesson card you own from outside the game, and go from there. Good lord. I just cannot get this fucking camera to work. It's a cheap camera, so I mean, it's not like the end of the world, but it certainly does not do well for what I'm looking at here. Jesus. Alright. Alright, that's just going to have to be good enough. That's just going to be the best it is. I'll just read out cards as I get them. Learn. Reveal a lesson card you own from outside the game and put it into your hand, or discard a card to draw a card. I mean, okay. That stops it from being useless in, like, Commander. Okay. Okay. That's fine. Witherbloom Campus. A Golgari land that comes in tapped, and for 4 mana you can tap it to scry. I mean, it's a mana sink option. It's an option. It's not bad. A lot of Golgari. Okay. Blood Researcher for 1 a black and a green. It's a 2/2 with Menace. That's pretty nice. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay. All right. I mean, for a common, that's fine. It's a little more of no, it's fine. I can see that working in a life gain deck. For 1 and a black, Hunt for Specimens. It's a sorcery that says create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with, when this creature dies, you gain 1 life, and then you can learn. So discard, draw, or if you're playing a different format, you can just pull a lesson card from your sideboard. Defend the Campus for 3 and a white. Choose 1. It's an instant. Creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn, or destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Okay. It's a modal card. Cost is probably a little prohibitive, but I mean, it's okay, I guess. +1/+1 until end of turn isn't great, but destroying a creature with power 4 or greater for 4 mana, well, actually, Waterfall Aerialist, 3 and a blue for a Djinn Wizard. It's a 3/1 with flying and Ward 2. Okay, Ward 2. Ward is I don't know if Ward is a new mechanic, but I haven't seen it before Strixhaven. So I don't know if I just missed a set that it was in, or what. But Ward is a cool mechanic. I like Ward a lot. Just a passive counter unless you pay more. It's just a nice taxes concept. 1 and a red for Sudden Breakthrough. It's an instant that says target creature gets +2/+0 and gains first strike until end of turn, and create a treasure token. Okay, so it's more like a 1 mana then. I mean, because you're getting the treasure token back. So, well, actually, treasure payoffs are better too. So it's actually better than just 1 mana. Technically. Lots of treasure payoffs lately. That's not a bad card. Actually, I don't hate that. It's a combat trick, so it's not fantastic, but it's okay. Bayou Groff. It's a 1 and a green plant dog. Ooh, this can go in my Ren and Seri deck. As an additional cost to pay this spell, sacrifice a creature or pay 3. For a 5/4? So you either pay 5 for a 5/4, or you scrap a token or something to get a 5/4. I mean, hey, that's not too bad. That's not terrible. Essence Infusion. For 1 and a black, you put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. It gains lifelink until end of turn. 2 power for 2 mana plus lifelink for a turn. Introduction to Annihilation. I've seen this one before. 5 generic mana to exile a target non-land permanent. Its controller draws a card. This is only useful in like a limited format when you have a sideboard for this. 10 of the Pests. 1 black and 1 green. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Create X 1/1 black and green pest creature tokens with when this creature dies you gain 1 life, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. Okay. Okay, I mean, for a Golgari life gain deck, that seems to be one of the archetypes here. Again, I'm kind of going into this with a little bit of no information at all. That's okay. That seems alright. It seems pretty good to power through with a pest deck. Solve the equation for 2 and a blue. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, and then shuffle. 3 mana tutor, but it only tutors instants or sorceries. Yeah, I mean, that's alright. That's good. It's playable. It's not wonderful. There are better tutors, but that's okay. 1 white for Clever Lumimancer. It's a 0/1 with Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Was there a heavy copy cast with white in it? I mean, probably. Oh, cool. Let's see. Here, hold on. Let me put that down so I can look at this one. Plarg, Dean of Chaos. For 1 and a red, he's a 2/2. You can tap him to discard and draw, which is Rummage, I believe. For 4 and a red, reveal cards from the top of your library until you revealed a non-legendary, non-land card with mana value 3 or less. You may cast it without paying its mana cost. Put all revealed cards not cast this way in the bottom of your library in a random order. It's pretty good. And on the other side, we have Augusta, Dean of Order. For 2 and a white, she's a 1/3. Other tapped creatures you control get +1/+0. Other untapped creatures you control get +0/+1. Whenever you attack, untap each creature you control, then tap any number of creatures you control. Alright, so there's got to be a gimmick there that I'm not picking up on. Why would you want your tapped creatures to get +1 power? It's interesting. So, alright, what do you guys get? Damn, are you guys even on the fucking list? Jesus. Okay, Dean. Less than $1. So, not going to worry about that then. Okay. Mystical Archive is Duress. For 1 black, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card. That player discards that card. Duress is okay. And then a treasure token. I'm actually going to put this one aside because I don't have enough treasure tokens. Alright. Next pack. And don't worry about it. I will sort all this later. I've got a whole mess of cards I still need to kind of sort through. I've got a whole process to do. I'm moving all my cards over to my aunt's place because she's got a large basement that I can put a table in that I can actually play Magic in. Alright, so let's see. This should be a token. It's an Inkling. It's alright. And then this should be the Mystical Archive. So I'm going to put that aside for now because there's modal double-faced. Alright, Biblioplex Assistant for 4 generic. It is a 2/1 with flying, and when it enters the battlefield, put up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not good, but it's not too bad. Prismari Campus. Oh, this is going in my Is It deck. Well, actually, probably not. Enters tapped. Add blue or red. And then 4 mana, scry 1. Again, it's okay. It's fine for a land. Lore Hold Pledge Mage. For 1 and then 2 Boros hybrid mana, you get a 2/2 with First Strike. That's pretty good. Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. That's not too bad. I like it. It's a good common. For 1 and a green, we have Tangle Trap, which is an instant that choose 1. Tangle Trap deals 5 damage to target creature with flying. Okay. Or destroy target artifact. So it's naturalized, stapled to... I'm forgetting it. It's a green staple. But, yeah, flying hate and artifact hate. It's green. Nothing new. Nothing crazy. Still good, but... Leech Fanatic for 1 and a black. We get a 2/2 Human Warlock, and as long as it's your turn... Hang on. I don't know about you guys, but I can't really focus with that music in my ears. As loud as it was. I don't know if it was loud for you guys or not, but it's a little high for me. Get over there. As long as it's your turn, it has lifelink. 2 mana, 2/2 with lifelink on your turn. Okay, yeah, it's not bad. That fits into the Golgari life gain theme. For 3 and a white, we have Combat Professor. It's a 2/3 with flying, and at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0 and gains vigilance until end of turn. It's not terrible. A lot of these cards are not terrible. I mean, they're expensive, and they probably worked better in a draft format, but they're okay. 1 and a blue for Soothsayer Adept. It's a Merfolk Wizard. It's a 1/3 for 1 and a blue. Draw a card, then discard a card. That's pretty good. That's a pretty decent mana sink on a creature. It's not even that prohibitive of a cost. It's all right. Yeah. Okay. For the next one, we've got Pillar Drop Warden for 3 and a red. We've got a 1/5 Spirit Dwarf. Okay. It's got reach, and if you pay 2 and tap it, you can sacrifice it to return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only as a sorcery. Okay, so yeah, that's not bad. That just refills your hand with spells you've already cast. It's pretty good. Scurrid Colony. It's a squirrel, one and a green for a 2/2 with reach, and it gets +2/+2 as long as you control 8 or more lands. Squirrel decks must love this bastard. It's not too bad. Pretty good. Oh, here's a lesson. Elemental Summoning. 3 generic and then 2 Is It hybrid mana. You create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Again, lessons don't seem to be very good on their own. But, in like a format where you have a sideboard, it's not too bad to have the option. Explosive Welcome. For 7 and a red, we have an instant, and it deals 5 damage to any target and 3 damage to any other target, and you get 3 red mana back. Okay, so it's like a half ritual, so it's technically only 5 mana. So 5 damage to any target and 3 damage to any other target. 5 mana for 8 damage. It's a decent rate. It's not good. It's a decent rate, plus it gives you that mana back. I'm sure there's ways to make use of that. Duplicating it is probably a... Ooh, copying the spell is probably really nice. Because copying it even once makes it super cheap. Let's see, you'd get 6 red backs, then it would technically only be 1 in a red. And then you're dealing 16 damage total. Yeah, 1 copy and this spell becomes pretty good. Okay, that one's not bad. I might look at that going into my Spellslinger Is It deck. 2 and a blue, we have Divide by 0. It's an instant. Return target spell or permanent with mana value 1 or greater to its owner's hand, and you may learn. Alright, and nope, there's one more. Okay, for a green and a blue, we have an instant called Decisive Denial. Sorry that I haven't picked a single format to talk about these cards in. Choose one. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. Or counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 3. So, a green and a blue for a better cancel. Or a fight. It seems good. That seems pretty good, actually. Alright, and let's see what we got. Culling Ritual. Destroy... Oh, sorry. For 2 generic, a black and a green, we have a sorcery that says destroy each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Add black or green for each permanent destroyed this way. That's not too bad. I don't hate that. What is this? Okay, the extended art's expensive, but the regular... Oh, hey, Culling Ritual is actually a little bit... It's got like what is it, 250? That's not bad. That's worth a sleeve right there. I need to build a good Golgari deck anyway. Actually, you know what? I might put this in my Muldrotha deck. Now that I'm thinking about it. Oh, come on, you fucker. Oh, my knives are in the other room. Yeah. There we go. Damn you, Dragon Shield, for making such effective packaging. I'll sleeve anything above $2. Alright, and then our Mystical Archive is Natural Order. For 2 generic and 2 green, we've got a sorcery that says as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a green creature. Search your library for a green creature card, put it on the battlefield, and then shuffle. This card is worth $16? $12. Almost $13. Nice. Very cool. Second boost. Second pack, and we've already made almost our money back. If we keep going at this rate, at least. That's not too bad. That's... Let's see. It's like $15? I mean, it's worth the 2 packs that I've opened, at least. By a lot. So, that's a good place to start. Nice. Looks like I'm kind of incentivized to build a Strixhaven Golgari deck, though. Just need to find a good commander for it. Alright. Oh, here we go. Here's the draft archetypes. They've got it spelled out for me here. Alright. So, black and white is Silver Quill, flyers and 1/1 counters. Okay, Inklings are flyers. Yeah, they're 2/1 flyers. Okay, I didn't know that. Okay. Prismari is treasure and spells. That's shocking. Is it colors? Witherbloom is life gain and sacrifice. Yep. Lorehold is spirits in the graveyard. Okay, so it's a spirit focus and graveyard in white and red. That's interesting. And then blue green is ramp. Okay, nothing crazy. Fractals is pretty cool. Oh, 8-land focus. That's interesting. And this is a 4/4 elemental that we saw we can make with that lesson earlier. There's the Mystical Archive. And you know what? I'll take the rare out, too. We'll go from there. Thrilling Discovery. For a red and a white, we have a sorcery that says gain 2 life. Then you may discard 2 cards. If you do, draw 3 cards. Okay. Okay, that's... Again, white and red, it seems like a weird place to be putting graveyard. But, I mean, you know what? I'm not going to complain about it. It's kind of cool to see Graveyard Focus in a different color pair. Okay. Archway Commons. Enters tapped. When it enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay 1. Tap it, 1 mana of any color. This is just, from Ravnica. Not the gate. Damn it. This is just a different name for that card. Unless it has slightly different mechanics and I'm not picking up on it. Needlethorn Drake. For a green and a blue, we've got a 1/1 creature with flying and death touch. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. Flying and death touch on a 1/1. I mean, that's not bad. Pop Quiz. For 2 and a blue, we have an instant that says draw a card and learn. Seems a little expensive. Seems like it would have been good in the in a standard or sideboard format. But, yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to use it. Another Sudden Breakthrough. Spined Karak. For 2 and a green, we've got a 2/4 Vanilla Crocodile. 3 mana for a 2/4. Promising Duskmage. For 2 and a black, we've got a 2/3 Human Warlock that says when it dies, if it had a 1/1 counter on it, draw a card. Okay, that's pretty good. Considering white-black is all about the 1/1 counters. That seems reasonable for a common. Expel. For 2 and a white, exile target tapped creature. It's a little expensive, but it's nice. Burog Befuddler. For 1 and a blue, we've got a 2/1 frog wizard with flash. When he enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-0 until end of turn. That's a fun little combat trick on a creature. Probably wind up winning a whole combat encounter based off of that. That's nice. Pest Summoning. For 1 and then 2 Golgari Hybrid mana, create 2 1/1 black and green pest creature tokens with when this creature dies, you gain 1 life. You know, actually, this might be, so far, the only lesson I've seen that's worth just playing. 3 mana for 2 1/1s that gain you 1 life when they die, so that's 2 power, 2 toughness on 2 different bodies, plus it's 2 life when they die, and they will die. That's not bad. I would play that. Is it a good idea? I don't know, but I would play that. Containment Breach. For 2 and a green, we've got another lesson. It says destroy target artifact or enchantment. If its mana value is 2 or less, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token with when this creature dies, you gain 1 life. 3 mana to blow up something, and you're incentivized to blow up something small because then you get a creature out of it. Okay, that's fine. Show of Confidence. For 1 and a white, we have an instant that says when you cast this spell, copy it for each other instant and sorcery spell you've cast this turn. You may choose new targets for the copies. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature. It gains vigilance until end of turn. Okay. I mean, how many spells can you really cast to make this worth it? I mean, you'd have to cast, what, like 1 other spell that turn to make this okay? That's probably the floor. The floor is you cast this by itself, and you've got a 2 mana 1/1 counter plus vigilance for the turn. So, if you're copying it, that's 2 1/1 counters plus 2 potential vigilance. I don't know. That's probably okay. That's okay. It seems okay. Maelstrom Muse. That's an interesting mana cost. For 1, a blue, is it hybrid mana, and a red. We've got a 2/4 Djinn Wizard with flying, and whenever Maelstrom Muse attacks, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn costs X less to cast, where X is Maelstrom Muse's power as this ability resolves. Okay. You know, okay, actually. That's 4 mana for a 2/4 that makes your spells 2 cheaper when it attacks. It doesn't need to do combat damage. You just need to go on attacking with Maelstrom Muse. And then your next instant or sorcery spell gets 2 cheaper. You can power this guy up or attack with him more than once. Actually, I like that card, actually. That's... I don't know how good that is, but... It's going for 2 cents, so, I mean, it's not crazy. But, hey, I like it. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Okay, we've got Lorehold Command. Lorehold Command. For 3 generic, a red and a white, we've got an instant that says choose 2. Create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Creatures you control get +1, +0, and gain indestructible and haste until end of turn. And then Lorehold... Oh, jeez, there's 2 more. Lorehold Command deals 3 damage to any target. Target player gains 3 life. Sacrifice a permanent, then draw 2 cards. That's okay. It's not bad. Hi.
Hi. I'm just letting you know at 2 to 3, I'm going to need this room. Because I'm talking to my care manager.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Just figured I'd let you know.
Okay.
Now I'm going to go make a sandwich.
Okie dokie. I'm going to keep streaming.
Okay, cool.
Alright. Our mystical archive is Gift of Estates. For 1 and a white, we've got a sorcery that says if an opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for up to 3 plains cards, reveal them, and put them into your hand, and then shuffle. Okay. Where is Gift of Estates? That seems okay. It's not very high up there. It is not Japanese alternate art. It's worth 97 cents. So, unfortunately, I'm sorry, Gift of Estates, you are not worth sleeving. But you're pretty good. I might put you in my Barago deck later. I'll think about it. Don't you worry. I always think about it. Alright. What you got for me? Literally nothing. Alright. Into the trash you go. Mystic Archive. Rare. Okay, we've got Witherbloom Pledge Mage. For 3 and 2 Golgari mana, it's a 5/5, so it's, you know, it's technically vanilla. It's a Tree Folk Warlock. With Magecraft, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, you gain 1 life. Fits right in on the Golgari theme. It's not bad. It's not terrible. I mean, it's a 5/5 for 5. That's on curve. That's fine. Alright, we've got Letter of Acceptance. For 3 generic mana, we've got an artifact that you can tap for 1 mana of any color. And for 2 mana, you can tap it and sacrifice it to draw a card. Feels like a Commander Sphere. Let me actually look up Commander Sphere real quick. Okay, so it's a worse Commander Sphere, because you have to pay to sacrifice it to get a card. Okay. Okay, I mean, that's not bad. A worse Commander Sphere is still not terrible at common. Alright, for 2 Izzet mana, we have Prismari Pledge Mage. 2 Izzet mana for a 3/3, ooh, with Defender. But whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, it can attack as if it didn't have Defender. That's a decent spell payoff, but I mean, a 2 mana 3/3 with Defender, and then if you cast an instant or sorcery, it loses Defender. I mean, you could do worse. You could definitely do worse. Another Bayou Groff. For 1 black mana, we have Professor's Warning. It is an instant, and it says choose one. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, or target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Alright, that's not bad. Combat Professor. I believe I've already opened one of these. Arcane Subtraction. For 1 and a blue, target creature gets -4/-0 until end of turn, and then you learn. It's fine. It's acceptable. For 2 and a red, we have Enthusiastic Study. It's an instant that says target creature gets +3/+1, gains trample until end of turn, and you learn. It's a combat trick. It's fine if you play combat tricks. I try and avoid them personally. Reckless Amplimancer. We have a 1 and a green, or 1 generic and a green. For a 2/2 Elf Druid, and for 4 generic and a green, you can double its power and toughness until end of turn. A 2-mana 2/2 on curve. It's an elf, so that's nice for elf decks. And then it's a mana sink later. But is it worth the mana sink? I mean, you'd have to pump 5 mana into it to make it a 4/4 for 1 turn. You'd have to really pump this bastard up and then pump it using its own ability to really make it worth anything. And by that point, you might as well just be playing a different card. Unless I'm missing something, that doesn't seem very good. Oh, interesting. Okay, that's... Alright, this is a weird pack, looks like. Alright, Spirit Summoning. For 1 and then 2 Boros Hybrid mana, we've got create a 3/2 red and white Spirit Creature token. Could be worse. It's a lesson. Again, it's built for the sideboard. Zimone, Quandrix Prodigy. For a green and a blue, Zimone. Zimone looks right. I don't know. We've got a 1/2 Human Wizard. It's a legendary creature. Pay 1 and tap it. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. Okay, that's decent ramp. And then for 4 generic and tap it, draw a card. If you control 8 or more lands, draw 2 cards instead. For a 2/2 body, those are some pretty okay effects. This could be a good commander. I can see this being a pretty good commander. Actually... yeah. Didn't think so. It's an uncommon. It's not like it's that crazy. But I'm actually going to put her aside. Just so I can look at her later and maybe look at building a Simic deck. Alright, Flunk. For 1 and a black, we've got an instant that says target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn, where X is 7 minus the number of cards that creature's controller's hand. Okay. So this does really well if your opponent has an empty hand. It's not terrible. It's not super good, but it's not terrible. Access Tunnel. It's a land. You can tap it to add 1 generic. If you pay 3 and tap it, target creature with power 3 or less can't be blocked this turn. So it's Rogue's Passage. It's like a Rogue's Passage, but worse. Okay, for our rare. Strixhaven Stadium. For 3 generic, it is an artifact. You can tap it to add 1 generic mana, then you can put a point counter on it. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, remove a point counter from Strixhaven Stadium. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, put a point counter on Strixhaven Stadium. Then if it has 10 or more point counters on it, remove them all, and that player loses the game. Alternate win condition. Alternate win conditions are usually pretty cool. $0.84. That's not bad. It's pretty cool. I actually don't hate it. I can't see myself using it, but that's pretty neat. I like it. Maybe for a giant... You know, jokes aside, I might put that in my Goblin deck. That might be really funny. Alright. And then we've got Opt as our Mystical Archive. Nothing super crazy. Scry 1, draw a card for 1 blue. That's good. It's on rate. It's not terrible. It's not really very good. but we're not going to complain about it. Four elemental, mystical archive, rare. We've got Quandrix Pledge Mage for 1 generic and then 2 Simic Hybrid. We've got a 2/2 Merfolk Druid with Magecraft, and you put a 1/1 counter on it when you cast an instant or sorcery, or copy an instant or sorcery. It's not too bad. It's decent. For a black and a green, we've got Infuse with Vitality, which is an instant that says until end of turn, target creature gains Death Touch, and when this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under its owner's control, so kind of like a regenerate effect, and then you gain 2 life. It's actually a decent combat trick. Protects the creature you're putting the combat trick on. Gives it Death Touch, so anything it's touching is dying. That'd be great to put on a big creature that gets blocked by a ton of little creatures. Put this on something with trample? That'd be funny. Relic Sloth. For 3 generic, a red and a white, we've got a 4/4 beast with vigilance and menace. Okay. That's decent. 5 mana for a 4/4 that doesn't tap when it attacks and needs to be blocked by 2 or more creatures. That's okay. Lorehole Campus. It's like the other campuses. It's okay. Field Trip. For 2 generic and a green, we've got a sorcery that says search your land card for a basic forest card, put that card onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. And then learn as well. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Alright, for 1 and a black, we have Hunt for Specimens. It is a sorcery that lets you create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token, and then you can learn. Okay. For 2 mana? Okay. Alright, for 1 white, we've got Star Pupil, who is a 0/0, who enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on him. And when it dies, put its counters on target creature you control. Okay, so you're incentivized to really pump this guy up, and then when he dies, you just throw your counters on something else. That's not bad. Alright, we've got Serpentine Curve for 3 generic and a blue. It's a sorcery that lets you create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. You put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is 1 plus the total number of instant and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graveyard. I kind of like that. For 1 and a red, we've got First Day of Class, which is an instant. It says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains haste until end of turn, and you can learn. Cool. Spirit Summoning. Honor Troll. For 2 generic and a green, we've got a 2/3 Troll Druid with Vigilance. If you would gain life, you gain that much life, +1 instead. This is definitely built for the Golgari deck. And then it gets +2/+1 as long as you have 25 or more life. Okay, that's not bad. So in Commander, this winds up being a 3 mana 4/4. 3 mana 4/4 with Vigilance. By default, that's pretty good. Alright, we've got Umbral Juke. For 2 and a black, we've got an instant that lets you choose 1. Target player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, or you create a 2/1 white and black inkling creature token with flying. So an Edict or a token generator. Oh, good God. I'm so sorry. It's not bad. I actually kind of like that. There's a lot of cards I like in this set, actually, now that I'm like looking at them. Again, they might not be very good, but I like them. We've got another one of those weird costs. For 3 generic, a red, Boros Hybrid or white, or Boros Hybrid and white, We've got a 4/2 Spirit Cleric that's got flying. It's called the Returned Past Caller. I skipped that part. And when it enters the battlefield, return target spirit, instant, or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay. So 6 mana for a 4/2 that puts spirit, instant, or sorcery in your hand. I don't know. They put the heavy emphasis on spells and spirits for Boros, but I don't know. Okay. Our rare is Crackle with Power. Which is a $5 card, so we're going to pull out a sleeve. Okay. Crackle with Power is an XXX and 2 red sorcery, where Crackle with Power deals 5 times X damage to each of up to X targets. So for 5 mana, you're dealing 5 damage to 1 target. For 8 mana, you're dealing 10 damage to 2 targets. Okay, this scales pretty hard, pretty quick. This could be game-winning. That's pretty cool. I like that one. Alright. And then for our Mystic Archive, Cultivate. For 2 and a green, it's a sorcery that lets you search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, put one on the battlefield tapped and the other in your hand, and then shuffle. Cultivate's okay. There's a pest creature token. Cool. Mystic Archive, rare. Alright. For 1 and 2 hybrid... Oh, yep, I've already seen this one. Square Up, this one's new. For 1 and hybrid Simic mana, you have an instant that lets target creature... Oh, okay. Hold on. Okay, for 1 in a Simic Hybrid, it's an instant that says target creature has base power and toughness 4/4 until end of turn. So this would be a good power up for your fractals. I mean, generally that seems like what it's supposed to be used for, but making something small into something bigger, plus all the counters you might have on it. I mean, for 2 mana, that's okay. That's okay. Prismari Campus again, Quandrix Pledge Mage, Eager First Year. This is a 1 and a white for a 2/2, so we're on vanilla already. It's a human wizard with Magecraft, and it gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It's not terrible. It's not good, but it's not terrible. It's just it's a bear. Bury in Books. For 4 generic and a blue, this spell costs 2 less to cast if it targets an attacking creature. Good lord, I am so sorry, folks. It's an instant. And you put target creature into its owner's library second from the top. Ooh, ooh, ooh. That. A 3 mana berry. That's a good bounce spell. That's a good bounce spell. It's a little too expensive, unfortunately, for Commander, but I say that as if Commander isn't. I digress. Alright, Tome Shredder. For 2 and a red, we've got a 2/2 wolf with haste. And if you tap it, you can exile an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard and put a +1/+1 counter on it. I mean, okay. Reckless Amplimancer again. Mage Hunter's Onslaught. It is 2 and 2 black. That says destroy target creature or planeswalker. Whenever a creature blocks this turn, its controller loses 1 life. Okay, that could win you the game. That could probably win you the game. If you're stuck in a board stall, you just need that much life, this could win you the game. That's not bad. I mean, for 4 mana, that's okay. Expanded Anatomy. It's a lesson for 3 generic mana. Put 2/1/1 counters on target creature, and it gains vigilance until end of turn. Again, it's a lesson. It's good in your sideboard. If I would play this in a regular deck, I'd probably make this 2 mana instead. But, it's okay. It's a good lesson, though. Hall Monitor. For 1 red, it's a 1/1 Lizard Shaman with haste. And for 1 in a red, target creature can't block this turn. Sorry, 1 in a red and you tap it. No unauthorized summoning. No writing in the library books. And absolutely no indoor dueling. Zephyr Boots is a 1 mana artifact equipment. Equipped creature has flying. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, then discard a card. That is not a may statement, though, so you have to do that. And it's equipped too. Wormhole Serpent. 4 generic and a blue for a 3/5 Serpent. For 3 and a blue, target creature can't be blocked this turn. 5 mana for 3/5 is not a good rate. And then 4 mana to prevent a target creature from being blocked. This just seems a little too expensive. Like, in every front. I don't think I would play that card. Okay. Our rare is Cody, Vociferous Codex. It is a 3 generic mana legendary artifact creature construct. It is a 1/4 that says you can't cast permanent spells. For 4 generic and you tap it, you add Wooburg. When you cast your next spell this turn, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile an instant or sorcery card with less mana value. Until end of turn, you may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put each other card exiled this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is a weird card. This is kind of a weird card, I'm not going to lie. Interesting for Commander. I'm going to put it aside to see if I can't look at builds for it later, see if there's something fun for it. And our Mystical Archive is Lightning Bolt. Regular Lightning Bolt, $3. There we go. Nice. All right. We're not doing too bad so far. Okay. You know, this is going a lot longer than I kind of thought it would, and I don't mind that. I kind of expected this to be a real quick thing, but I've already been live for an hour. Inkling Token. It's a shame that my camera quality sucks. Now that I know this and I actually want to do unboxing streams, I'm going to invest in a better camera. Elemental Masterpiece. For 5 generic, a blue and a red, you create 2 blue and red elemental creature tokens. And then for 2... Oh! Instead, you can pay 2 Izzet mana and discard it to create a treasure token. 6 mana for 8 power and toughness on the board. Or 7 mana for 8 power and toughness. You're literally getting your money back. Plus the ability to sack it for a treasure token. I don't hate that. I actually kind of like that. Okay. We've got Excavated Wall for 1 generic mana. It's a 0/4 wall with Defender. Duh, it's a wall. For 1 generic and tap it, you mill a card. There's Millstone, Grind Clock. There's better mill cards. There's better walls. for Christ's sake. Alright, we've got Rise of Extus for 4 generic and then 2 hybrid Orzo of mana. We've got a sorcery that says exile target creature and then exile up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard and then learn. Alright, that's okay. Pillar Drop Warden. Charge Through. For 1 green mana, it's an instant that says target creature gains trample until end of turn, and then you draw a card. Alright. Decent combat trick. Arrogant Poet. For 1 and a black, you have a 2/1 human warlock that says whenever Arrogant Poet attacks, you may pay 2 life. If you do, it gains flying until end of turn. That is just a little too expensive unless you're looking to win the game with it. It's a nice option, but 2 mana just for flying? Defend the Campus, 3 generic and a white. It's an instant that says choose 1. Creatures you control get +1/+1 till end of turn. Or to target turn. Oh, I've already seen this one. It's fine. Reject. For 1 and a blue, we've got an instant that says counter target creature or planeswalker spell unless its controller pays 3. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into the graveyard. Alright. It's a decent creature hate. Fractal Summoning. It's a lesson for X and 2 Simic hybrid mana. You put a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token on the battlefield, and you put X +1/+1 counters on it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, that's okay. Humiliate. For 1 white and 1 black. It's a sorcery that says target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card. Put a +1/+1 counter on creature you control. So it's like Duress +1. Alright. Grinning Ignis. It's a 2 generic and a red for a 2/2 elemental that says pay 1 red. Return Grinning Ignis to its owner's hand. Add 2 generic and 1 red mana. Activate only as a sorcery. There's certainly a mana break with this guy. You just need to be able to generate 2 more mana off of bouncing into your hand. So anything that pays you for putting it on the battlefield, anything like that. Silver Quill Apprentice. For 1 and a black, we've got a 2/2 human warlock that's got Magecraft, +1/+0 until end of turn. Oh, target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. That makes this a little better, because it doesn't have to sit on this. You can put it on something with evasion. Like an Inkling, because it's black and white. Okay, I can see how that works. The Biblioplex. Oh, shit, we've got a foil. Okay, I didn't count. Alright. $0.50. Not worried about it. Okay. It's a land. You can tap it for 1 generic. Pay 2 and tap it to look at the top card of your library. If it's an instant or sorcery card, you may reveal it and put it into your hand. If you don't put the card into your hand, you may put it into your graveyard. Activate only if you have exactly 0 or 7 cards in hand. That's really specific. That's like really specific. Okay. So, is this our Mystical Archive or our foil? It's our Mystical Archive. It's Infuriate. It's 1 red to give target creature +3/+2 until end of turn. $0.25. Not worth it. Okay, and then we've got a foil. And it's Stonebinder's Familiar. Whoa! For 1 white, it's a 1/1 Spirit Dog. This can go in my Ren and Sarai deck. Whenever 1 or more creatures are put into exile during your turn, put a +1/+1 counter on him. This ability triggers only once per turn. That's okay. I don't think that's very worth it. Let me check. I'll see. Considering foils just bend nowadays. Yeah, there's not even a price for its foil, which means it's not worth it. Alright. Well, that's okay. Foils are usually crap. sheesh, we've still got all these packs to go. Oh my god. Alright, let's go crazy. Let's go wild. Let's stack these all up in a giant pile because I'm a psychopath. Those are going to tilt dangerously the whole time, so if you want them to stop tilting, I'm going to have to start opening them faster. Fractal token. Cool, I wanted at least one of those. Mystic Archive. Rare, maybe. Let's see. Hold on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we got another foil. Alright. Moldering Carrick. Have I gone over this one yet? I don't think so. 2 generic, a green and a black, for a 3/3 with trample and lifelink. I like it. Eureka Moment. For 2 generic, a green and a blue, you have an instant that says draw 2 cards. You may put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield. Alright. It's okay. It's a decent ramp. It's fine. Biomathematician. For one generic, a green and a blue, you've got a 2/2 human wizard that creates a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token when it enters the battlefield, and then you put a +1/+1 counter on every fractal you control. Okay. Talk about fractal bonus. Spined Carrick, it's 3 generic and a green for a 2/4. Just generic, just a vanilla creature. Promising Duskmage. If it had a 1/1 counter on it, draw a card. Expel, Burrug Befuddler, Pillar Drop Warden, Introduction to Prophecy. For 3 generic, you've got a sorcery lesson, scry 2, and then draw a card. So, just a worse opt. Just a worse opt. Maybe playable if it was too generic. Good for a sideboard if you're playing a sideboard. Oh, look at that! My music ran out. Let's just reset it. Lorehold Apprentice. For 1 red and 1 white, you've got a 2/2 human cleric with Magecraft. Spirit creatures you control gain tap. This creature deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's weird. It's weird, but I like it. Snow Day. For 4 generic and 2 blue, we've got an instant that says tap up to 2 target creatures. They don't untap during their target controller's next untap step. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. That's a whole lot of stuff going on. Okay, so it's got 2 target freeze effect, and then draw 2 cards and discard a card. All for 6 mana. It's a little expensive. It's a little expensive, but it's okay. It's alright. It's fine. I think I'm a little loud. I think I'm a little smidgen loud. So let's turn me down a little bit. As long as I'm louder than the music behind me, I should be fine. Alright, Carrick Wrangler for 4 generic and a green. We've got a 3/3 elf druid with Magecraft. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control. That's okay. Okay, this should be our rare. Ooh! 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 Okay, so now that my grubby, ugly fingers aren't touching this, this is an extended art Professor Onyx. That's borderless. This is an $11 card. Nice. Alright, Professor Onyx is a Liliana Planeswalker for 4 generic and 2 black. Starts with 5 loyalty and has Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, every opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Her +1 loyalty is you lose 1 life. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, put 1 of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Her -3 is each opponent sacrifices a creature with the greatest power among creatures that player controls. And for -8, each opponent may discard a card. If they don't, they lose 3 life. Repeat this process 6 more times. Okay, so you either dump everyone's hand if they've got a 7 card maximum hand still, or you ping them for, at most, 21, right? 7 times 3? Should be 21. Right? Am I doing my math right? Yeah. That's a slick Planeswalker. I think I'm going to try and put her in my Muldrotha deck. Alright, Mystical Archive. Revitalize. For 1 and a white, it's an instant that says you gain 3 life and draw a card. And I'm certain. Yeah, this one's not very worth it. Decent card. It's card draw and a white spell, so I mean it's gonna be bad. Alright, and our foil is Mage Hunter. It's 3 and a black for a 3/4 horror, and whenever an opponent casts or copies an instant or sorcery spell, they lose 1 life, punishing opponents for Magecraft. Okay. That's fun. It's a nice foil, too. Hopefully it doesn't bend. I mean, considering these have been sitting in a pack for a long time and the foils haven't bent yet, I'm a little surprised. Alright, so let's see. We've got $11, right? And then $5, that's $16. Plus 12. It's 28, give or take. Calling Ritual. Another $3. I mean, I'm doing well. I'm doing well, is my point. In terms of pulls. Not like there's anything you can do to make that better, but I'm impressed with this. Usually my box luck is mediocre at best. But hey, you know what? It's always fun. Okay. We've got a 3/2 Spirit Creature token. Mystic Archive, maybe our rare, maybe a foil. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No foil. Another Needlethorn Drake. That's a 1/1 Death Touch with flying. Another Archway Commons. Magyar Battleseer. That's 3 generic, a blue and a red for a 3/4 Ogre Shaman with haste. You can tap him to scry 1. It's a little expensive, but it's okay. Actually, 5 mana for a 3/4 that you can tap to scry 1. Actually, I'm going to take that back. I don't like that card. Maybe I'm missing something. Usually happens to be the case. I'll sit here and I'll go, oh, this card's bad. And then someone's like, oh, but have you considered its interaction with these 5 other cards? That'll win you the game every time. No, I haven't. I never have. Leave me alone. Resculpt. 1 generic and a blue for an instant that says exile target artifact or creature. Its controller creates a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. That would have to be something fucking devastating for you to want to replace it with a 4/4. Or you'd have to have something terrible. Pigment Storm. For 3 and 2 red, we've got a sorcery that says Pigment Storm deals 5 damage to target creature. XX damage is dealt to that creature's controller instead. It's a spell with trample. It's fine. It's not good on the curve, because it's 5 mana for 5 damage, but you can wipe out a 1/1 and deal 4 damage straight to your opponent's face, so that's okay. Big play. For 1 generic and a green, we've got an instant that says target creature gains +2/+2 and gains reach until end of turn. And put a +1/+1 counter on it. Pretty good. I mean, for a combat trick at least, you get to keep the counter. Novice Dissector. For 3 generic and a black, we've got a 3/3 Troll Warlock that lets you pay 1 and sacrifice another creature to put a 1/1 counter on target creature and activate only as a sorcery. This is good for tokens. Sack tokens to make your actual stuff bigger. Pilgrim of the Ages. For 2 generic and a white, we've got a 2/1 Spirit that says when Pilgrim of the Ages enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic Plains card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. And then for 6 mana, you can return it from your graveyard to your hand. It's okay for late game, I guess. I can see this playing in a Flicker deck, just to get lands out, but there's better ways to get lands in a Flicker deck, I think. Pop Quiz, Elemental Summoning, Killian, Ink Duelist. For 1 white and 1 black, we've got a 2/2 Human Warlock with Lifelink and Menace. Spells you cast that target a creature cost 2 less to cast. It's alright. Put him aside since he's a legendary. Plumb the Forbidden for 1 generic and a black. It's an instant that says, as an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice 1 or more creatures. When you do, copy this spell for each creature sacrificed this way. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. Okay, this is really good for sacking a whole bunch of creatures you were about to lose anyway. Okay, that's not too bad. Lorehold Excavation. For 1 red and 1 white, we have an enchantment that says at the beginning of your end step, mill a card. If a land card was milled this way, you gain 1 life. Otherwise, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. For 5 generic, you can exile a creature card from your graveyard and create a tapped 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. It's not a very efficient graveyard card. I mean, it gets the job done, but what do I know? Oh, good lord. My hands are starting to get a little sweaty. Should I be wearing gloves for this? Is that something people enjoy seeing? Is somebody wearing plastic gloves? I've got them right here, I think. Where are they? Maybe I put them in the other room. Yeah, I guess I must have. Yeah. Alright, not a big deal. Alright, our rare is Accomplished Alchemist. For 3 generic and a green. For 3 generic and a green, we've got a 2/5 Elf Druid that lets you tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Or you can tap it to add X mana of any 1 color, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. That's not too shabby. Okay, and then our Mystical Archive is D-Spark. For 1 and a black, it's an instant that says exile target permanent with mana value 4 or greater. $0.75. Decent, but not worth sleeving. Oh, okay. Four elemental creature token. Alright, well, there's the rare. Whoopsie. Uvilda, Dean of Perfection. I guess we're doing this now. My bad. It's a bulk rare anyway. Not very worth it. For 2 generic and a blue, we've got a 2/2 Djinn Wizard. You can tap it to exile an instant or sorcery card from your hand and put 3 Hone counters on it. It gains at the beginning of your upkeep. If this card is exiled, remove a Hone counter from it, and when the last Hone counter is removed from this card, if it's exiled, you may cast it. It costs 4 generic less to cast this way. Or Nazari, Dean of Expression. For 3 generic and 2 red, it's a 4/4 Ifrit Shaman. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of each opponent's library until end of turn. You may cast spells from among those exiled cards, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. Whenever you cast a spell from exile, put a +1/+1 counter on Nasari, Dean of Expression. Maybe it's usable. I don't know. It's not bad. But it's not very... not well loved. It's not very well loved at all. So, yeah, there's no way there's no foil in this one. Campus Guide. For 2 generic, we've got a 2/1 Golem that says when Campus Guide enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and then shuffle and put that card on top. No. No thanks. Cram Session. Another Campus. Witherbloom. Golgari. Blood Researcher again. Curate. For 1 generic and 1 blue, we've got an instant that lets you look at the top 2 cards of your library, and you can put any number of them into your graveyard and the rest back into the top of your library in any order, and then you draw a card. Okay, that's not bad. It's kind of like... it's Surveil. It's Surveil 2. Yeah, what the fuck? That's Surveil 2. Why didn't they just use the Surveil keyword? We already have a keyword for that. I guess because Surveil isn't evergreen. Dragon's Approach. For 2 generic and a red, we've got a sorcery that says Dragon's Approach deals 3 damage to each opponent. You may exile Dragon's Approach and 4 cards named Dragon's Approach from your graveyard. If you do, search your library for a dragon creature card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. A deck can have any number of cards named Dragon's Approach. Oof. There's got to be really good dragons to make this worth it. Like, you'd have to pay something fancy for those, or have a really, really hard time finding them. Mage Duel. For 2 generic and a green, you've got a sorcery that says this spell costs 2 less to cast if you cast another instant or sorcery spell this turn. Man, you can like hear the yawn creeping into my voice. Target creature you control gets +1/+2 until end of turn. Then it fights target creature you don't control. I thought it said each target creature. That would have been fucked up. 2 last to cast. So 1 green for a +1/+2 and then fight. At best. At worst, it's 3 mana +1/+2 and then fight. Crushing Disappointment. For 3 generic and a black, each player loses 2 life and you draw 2 cards. That's pretty good. You know, I'm gonna give that a pretty decent score there. That's pretty good. Ageless Guardian, 1 and a white for a 1/4 Spirit Soldier. It's vanilla. Expanded Anatomy. Start from scratch. 2 generic and a red for a lesson sorcery. Choose 1. It deals 1 damage to any target or destroy target artifact. It's fine. It's not good, but it's fine. Shadewing Lorate. 1 white. 1 Orgehove mana. And 1 black. For a 2/2 human warlock with flying, and whenever another creature you control with flying dies, put a +1/+1 target on target creature you control. +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Can't read today. Can't speak either. Go ahead and just shoot me, I guess. Jesus. Alright, that's not bad. It seems like your signpost uncommon for Silver Quill, right? That's the name of the house. Symmetry Sage. For 1 blue, it's a 0/2 human wizard with flying and magecraft. Target creature you control has base power 2 until end of turn. This is good for your fractals. Alright, and then our Mystic Archive is another Cultivate. It's fine. Inkling token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's a foil. Foil, Mystic Archive, rare. Cogwork Archivist for 6 generic mana. It's a 4/5 construct with reach. For 2 generic and a tap, put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. Silver Quill Pledge Mage for 1 generic and 2 Orshove hybrid mana. We've got a 3/1 Vampire Cleric with Magecraft. It gains your choice of flying or lifelink until end of turn. So you cast 2 instant sorceries and it becomes a 3/1 flying with lifelink. It's fine. Spectacle Mage. For 1, a blue and a red, you get a 2/2 Bird Shaman with flying. Instant and sorcery spells you cast with mana cost 5 or greater cost 1 less to cast. I hope nobody's tired, because I'm tired. Charge through, Arrogant Poet, Defend the Campus, Reject, Twin Scroll Shaman. For 2 generic and a red, we've got a 1/2 Dwarf Shaman with Double Strike. It's fine. Environmental Sciences, for 2 generic, it's a sorcery lesson that says search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle and gain 2 life. For 2 mana, I mean, okay, that's reasonable, actually. That feels reasonable. Mercurial Transformation, for 1 generic and a blue, we've got a sorcery lesson that says until end of turn, target non-land permanent loses all abilities and becomes your choice of a blue frog creature with base power and toughness 1/1, or a blue octopus creature with base power and toughness 4/4. Okay, that's not too bad. It's a decent polymorph effect. Dina, Soul Steeper. For 1 black and 1 green, we've got a 1/3 Dryad Druid. Whenever you gain life, each opponent loses 1 life. And for 1 generic, and you can sacrifice another creature, Dina, Soul Steeper, gains +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is the sacrificed creature's power. Alright. This is your Golgari, commander for this deck. Not this deck, this set. It's not too bad. It's nothing too great. Definitely gives you that life gain payoff. Put that aside. Necrotic Fumes. For 1 generic and 2 black, we've got a sorcery lesson. It says as an additional cost to cast this spell, exile a creature you control to exile target creature or planeswalker. There's better spells. That's good for sideboard, but as for regular play, I would probably forego it. Okay, here's our rare. Silver Quill Silencer. No, it's not worth anything. For 1 white and 1 black, we've got a 3/2 human cleric that says as Silver Quill Silencer enters the battlefield, choose a non-land card name. Whenever an opponent casts a spell with the chosen name, they lose 3 life and you draw a card. Good for a format where it's not singleton. Mystical Archive is Eliminate. For 1 and a black, it's an instant that says destroy target creature or planeswalker with mana value 3 or less. It's fine. It's a decent spell. And our foil is Prismari Campus. Very pretty, but worthless, effectively. Unfortunate. That's alright. I'm opening the packs for the entertainment of it. The value is just secondary. That's right, I'm one of those people that likes opening packs because it's just fun to open packs. Yay, gambling. Nothing. Garbage. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No foil. Okay, let's see what we got. Witherbloom Pledge Mage, Letter of Acceptance, Prismari Pledge Mage, Twin Scroll Shaman, Spined Carrack, Promising Dusk Mage, Expel, Barag Befuddler, Fuming Effigy. For 3 generic and a red, we've got a 4/3 spirit that says whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard, Fuming Effigy deals 1 damage to each opponent. Cool. It's not great, but it's not bad. Pest Summoning. Spell Satchel. For 2 generic, we've got an artifact with Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, put a book counter on it. Tap it to remove a book counter to add 1 generic. Pay 3 and tap it to remove 3 book counters and draw a card. Decent. It's a good payoff for spells. It's a little slow, but it's a good payoff. Golden Ratio. For 1 generic, 1 green, and 1 blue, we've got a sorcery that says draw a card for each different power among creatures you control. This is worth it if you control, I would argue, 3 mana for 2 cards. So if you control 2 different creatures with different power, and it only gets better from there. I actually like that. I actually like that card a lot. Professor of Symbology. For 1 and a white, you get a 2/1 core cleric that says when it enters the battlefield, learn. Alright. It's okay. It's not great, but it's fine. Okay, our rare is Dream Strix. Which is not worth anything. 2 and a blue for a 3/2 bird illusion. Flying, and when it becomes the target of a spell, sacrifice it, and when it dies, learn. Yeah, that's pretty mediocre for a rare, honestly. A 3 mana 3/2 illusion. It lets you learn, so again, for a constructed format, maybe that's pretty good, but pretty much only draft or sideboard games, and even then, there seems to be other cards that do everything that does, but better. Alright, our Mystical Archive is Doomblade. I already got one of these. Love Doomblade. Not worth a whole lot, but Doomblade's just a good card. Alright, we're starting to speed up now that I'm getting more familiar with the commons and uncommons. Inkling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. I'm seeing that this is a modal double-faced, so I'm going to block that off for now. Prismari Campus. It really wants me to like these campuses. Quandrix Pledge Mage. Lorehold Pledge Mage. Biblioplex Assistant. 4 generic mana for a 2/1 gargoyle with flying that says when Biblioplex Assistant enters the battlefield, put up to 1 target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard on top of your library. If you can repeat this a couple times, like bounce this and then put it back and then bounce it and put it back without paying for it, like flickering it. Sorry, there we go, flickering it. If you can flicker this a couple times, you know, I can actually see that not being too bad. Reject. Enthusiastic Study. Field Trip. Unwilling Ingredient. For 1 black mana, we've got a 1/1 frog with Menace. For 2 generic and a black, exile Unwilling Ingredient from your graveyard. You draw a card and you lose 1 life. It's not too bad. I don't hate it. Guiding Voice. For 1 white, you put a 1/1 counter on target creature and learn. Mediocre. Spirit Summoning. Hall Monitor. Fortifying Draft. For 1 green, you have an instant that lets you gain 2 life, and target creature gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. So at minimum, it's a +2/+2 combat trick +2 life. Yeah, it's okay. Secret Rendezvous. For 1 generic and 2 white, we have a sorcery that says you and target opponent each draw 3 cards. This is a great white draw spell for Commander. It also has political ability. Okay. There's the Mystic Archive. Still not looking. Okay. I don't know what it is. Our rare is Shale, Dean of Radiance. Which isn't worth anything. I don't think these Deans are really worth anything. It is a 1 generic, 1 white, 1/1 bird cleric with flying and vigilance. You can tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. That's pretty good. That's actually not too bad. Or Embrose, Dean of Shadow. For 2 generic and 2 black, it's a 4/4 human warlock with tap, put a +1/+1 counter on each other target creature, then Embrose, Dean of Shadow deals 2 damage to that creature. Oh, put a +1/+1 counter on another target creature. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it dies, draw a card. Yeah, that's okay. It's not super cool, but I can see the synergy there. And our Mystic Archive is Shock. Shock is fine. It's just a worse lightning bolt. So I presume it's going to be treated as such. Yep, 25 cents. Silver Quill Pledge Mage. Let's see, one. Oh, I'm seeing a foil. Never mind. Don't need to count. Foil, Mystical Archive, rare. Silver Quill Pledge Mage, Spectacle Mage, Cogwork Archivist, Professor of Zoomancy. Zoomancy? Zoomancy. I digress. For 3 generic and a green, we've got a 4/3 Bear Druid that says, when Professor of Zoomancy enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. So it's a 4/3 for 4 that creates a 1/1 pest creature. You know, that's okay. It's okay. Unwilling Ingredient, Guiding Voice, Waterfall Aerialist, Tome Shredder, Environmental Sciences, Quintorius Field Historian. For 3 generic, a red and a white, we've got a 2/4 Elephant Cleric that says spirits you control gain +1/+0. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Okay, so I can see this actually holding up the entire spirit archetype, like by itself. I can see building a commander deck around this, because until now, the spirit archetype hasn't seemed super good. But that's a lot of payoff for spirits, so that's actually not too bad. Tenured Ink Caster. For 4 generic and a black, we've got a 2/2 Vampire Warlock that says, when Tenured Ink Caster enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. And whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it attacks, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay, that's a pretty good +1/+1 payoff. I like that. Prismari Apprentice. For 1 blue and 1 red, we've got a 2/2 Human Shaman with Magecraft. It can't be blocked this turn, and if that spell has a mana value of 5 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Prismari Apprentice. Big spell payoffs. Big spell payoff. Oh. Ooh, what the fuck is happening here? So I've got a foil, a Mystical Archive, another rare? What is happening here? This is new to me. Okay. Well, here's our rare. I didn't expect this. I don't suppose he's worth much. He's a Spellbinder. Give me one moment. Extended art maybe, but yeah, 75 cents? Okay, so he's okay. 2 generic and a white for a 3/1 human cleric with flying. When he enters the battlefield, look at target opponent's hand. You may exile a non-land card from it. For as long as that card remains exiled, its owner may play it. A spell cast this way costs 2 generic more to cast. Oh, this is a world champion card. Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay, so let's see what I'm missing here. Okay, so here's our mystical archive. So I don't know what's going on here. We've got Harmonize. For 2 generic and 2 green, it's a sorcery that lets you draw 3 cards. 4 mana for 3 cards. That's okay. You are Mage Hunter's Onslaught. It's a foil. It's fine. And I don't know what this one is. Oh, it's nothing. Modal double-faced. Nothing. Definitely spooked me, though. I thought something really, really cool was going to be in that pack. But, no big deal. Alright. Garbage. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, what the fuck? Okay, this one's a little weird. Okay, this one's very weird. Okay, let's start this one from scratch. This one's a strange pack. Alright, Exhilarating Elocution for 2 generic, a white, and a black. We've got a sorcery that lets you put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Other creatures you control gain +1/+1 until end of turn. Elemental Masterpiece, Silver Quill Campus, Arrogant Poet, Stonerise Spirit for 1 generic and a white. We've got a 1/2 Spirit Bird flying that lets you pay 4 generic to exile a card from your graveyard, and then target creature gains flying until end of turn. That's a very expensive flying trigger. Frost Trickster for 2 generic and a blue. We've got a 2/2 bird wizard with flying that says when Frost Trickster enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls. That creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. So it's just like a Frost Lynx. For 1 generic and a red, we've got First Day of Class. It's an instant that says whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control this turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains haste until end of turn, and then you may learn. Charge Through. Hunt for Specimens. And then here's a rare in the middle of the pack, which doesn't seem right. But here we are. For 2 generic and 2 red, it is a sorcery lesson that says discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. If there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard, create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. I actually don't think that's too bad. 4 mana for what might be a wheel plus a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. That's not too bad. Reconstruct History. For 2 generic, a red and a white, we've got a sorcery that says return up to 1 target artifact card, up to 1 target enchantment card, up to 1 target instant card, up to 1 target sorcery card, and up to 1 target planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand, and then you exile it. Well, these 2 cards go very well together. Because if you Illuminate History, and then you cast Reconstruct History, you can get back up to 5 cards that you just scrapped. That's pretty cool, actually. I like that. That's a nice synergy. Show of Confidence. We've seen that one already. Tenured Ink Caster. Oh, okay. Yeah, this one was weird. Mavinda, Student's Advocate. It's $1.15. I'll sleeve that. Okay. Movinda, Student's Advocate, is a 2 generic and a white for a 2/3 bird advisor with flying that lets you pay 0 to cast target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard this turn. If that spell doesn't target a creature you control, it costs 8 generic more to cast this way. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Activate only once each turn. Oh, excuse me. That's fine. It's kind of mediocre. Okay. And unfortunately, I peeked at this one a little bit. Our Mystic Archive is Faithless Looting. Ew. This looks horrible. The rest of these Mystical Archives have looked really good, but this one looks just bad. Faithless Looting, we all know Faithless Looting for 1 red. You draw 2 cards, discard 2 cards, and then you can flash back for 2 generic and a red. Look at that. It's like the red is just bad. Why is it so, like... I don't like how this camera won't... adjust. Auto-adjust. I mean, again, it was a cheap camera off Amazon. I'm not exactly like, oh no, I didn't get my money's worth. No, I got my money's worth. It was like a $15 camera. I've just been using it so I have a tiny little, like, up here in the corner. How do I... There we go. My little box up here. So it doesn't have to have good resolution. But now that I'm trying to do unboxings... Fractal token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No foil. Mystic Archive, rare. Moldering Carrick. Eureka Moment. Biomathematician. Campus Guide. Frost Trickster. Fuming Effigy. Springmane Servan. For 2 generic and a green, we've got a 3/2 elk that when it enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life. It's not awful. It's not very good, but it's not awful. Leech Fanatic, Pilgrim of the Ages, Inkling Summoning. It is a 1 and then 2 Orshove hybrid mana sorcery lesson that lets you make a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. I haven't seen many things that make Inkling tokens yet. Aether Helix. For 3 generic, a green and a blue, we've got a sorcery that lets you return target permanent to its owner's hand. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. So it's a bounce, and then it lets you reclaim from your graveyard. It's not too bad. Master Symmetrist. For 2 generic and 2 green, we've got a 4/4 Rhino Druid with Reach that says whenever a creature you control with power equal to its toughness attacks, it gains trample until end of turn. So this is going to give all your fractals trample, which is pretty cool. Reduce to Memory. For 1 generic and 2 white, we've got a sorcery lesson here. With exile target non-land permanent, its controller creates a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Okay, our rare is Elemental Expressionist. That is 4 Izzet hybrid mana. Yeah, I didn't think so. It is a 4/4 Orc Wizard with Magecraft. Choose target creature you control. Until end of turn, it gains if this creature would leave the battlefield, exile it instead of putting it anywhere else. And when you exile this creature, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. Each instance of that ability triggers separately. So does that mean you can't stack it? I'd have to look up a ruling on that. That seems a little strange. But the exile replacement effect Not a lot of ways to abuse that. Not a whole lot of ways to abuse that card. Alright. Mystical Archive is negate. For 1 and a blue, counter target non-creature spell. Okay. Pest creature token. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We got a foil. Foil, Mystical Archive, rare. Alright, Excavated Wall, Exhilarating Elocution, Elemental Masterpiece, Blood Age General. For 1 and a red, we've got a 2/2 Spirit Warrior that says attacking spirits gain +1/+0 until end of turn. Here, let me. Can I try something here? Hold on. It's a shame I threw away the instructions on this. Okay, there we go, I think, maybe. Nope, that doesn't work. Can I do this? Nope. No, I can't. Oh no, I can't. Not even close, not even a little bit. Here, since that won't work. Oh, Jesus. Sorry, I'm just trying to make this work, and I'm frustrated, but I don't think there's any way to do this other than... it's still gonna be blurry. Here. You know what? Damn it. There's just no way. It's just the resolution is just not good enough. Yep. It's just not going to be good enough. So, sorry about that. Leyline Invocation is 5 generic and a green for a sorcery that says create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is the number of lands you control. It's pretty good. Crushing Disappointment is 3 generic and a black for an instant that says each player loses 2 life, you gain 2 cards. Yep. Illustrious Historian is 1 generic and a red for a 2/1 human shaman that says pay 5 and exile it from your graveyard to make a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. 5 mana for a 3/2. Jesus. Beaming Defiance for 1 and a white, you get an instant that says target creature you control gets +2/+2 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Vortex Runner is 2 generic and a blue for a 2/3 human wizard that says as long as you control 8 or more lands, Vortex Runner gets +1/+0 and cannot be blocked. Pest Summoning, Silver Quill Apprentice, Detention Vortex. For 1 white, it's an enchantment aura that says enchant non-land permanent. Enchanted permanent cannot attack or block, and its activated abilities cannot be activated. For 3 generic, destroy Detention Vortex. Only your opponents may activate this ability and only as a sorcery. So it's just a worse pacify / containment sphere / white enchantment lockdown. Rare, nope. I guess I saw on the foil. Then Witherbloom Apprentice, we've got a green and for 1 black and 1 green, we've got a 2/2 human druid with Magecraft. That gives you that makes your opponents lose 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay, now our rare is Daemogoth Titan. Okay. Alright. For 4 hybrid Golgari mana, we've got an 11/10 demon that says whenever it attacks or blocks, sacrifice a creature. For an 11/10 for 4 mana? Dude. Holy shit. You put this in a pest deck? This is never an issue. I'm going to put you aside. You're not worth anything, so I'm not going to sleeve you, but I like you. Alright, our mystical archive is Village Rites. For 1 black mana, it's an instant that says, as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. I like Village Rites. It's a good spell. I have Village Rites in my Muldrotha deck. Inkling token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Mystic Archive, rare. Lorehold Pledge Mage, Quandrix Pledge Mage, Biblioplex Assistant, Star Pupil, Serpentine Curve, First Day of Class, Professor of Zoomancy, Unwilling Ingredient, Guiding Voice, Pest Summoning, Umbral Juke, Aether Helix, Reduced to Memory. Look at that. This is the first pack where I've known every single common and uncommon and didn't have to sit and dwell on any of them. Our rare is Double Major. For 1 and a green, we have an instant that says copy target creature spell you control, except it isn't legendary if that spell is legendary. Double Major is worth $1.37. I would not expect any less. Alright. And our Mystical Archive is Agonizing Remorse. For 1 and a black, we've got a sorcery that says target opponent reveals their hand. Choose a non-land card from it or a card from their graveyard. Exile that card, you lose 1 life. Okay. Being able to exile the card from the graveyard might be worth the 1 life payment. Alright, we've been at this for 2 hours, and I've still got 5, 10, 15, I've still got 18 packs left, if my quick count is correct. So we're about halfway through, but it should go faster now that I've, again, got most of those pesky commons and uncommons memorized. Treasure token. Can never have enough treasure tokens. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Foil in this pack. Unless I counted wrong, or unless it's another weird pack. Okay. Okay. There's the foil, there's the Mystical Archive, and there's the Mythic Rare underneath that. I don't know what it is, but surprise. Alright. Thank you, double modal-faced cards. Modal double-faced cards. Lorehold Campus. Owlin Shield Mage. For 3 generic, a white and a black, we've got a 3/3 bird warlock with flying and ward. Pay 3 life. That's very expensive. A 5 mana 3/3 with flying is already expensive, and then ward. Oh, the opponent has to play. The opponent has to pay 3 life. Never mind. Never mind. That's better than I thought. I thought you, the player, had to pay 3 life to ward it. And I was like, that doesn't... I forgot how ward works for a second. Give me a break. Excavated Wall. Study Break. For 1 and a white, we've got an instant that lets you tap up to 2 target creatures and learn. You've been cramming all night. You're taking a nap whether you want to or not. Reject. Enthusiastic Study. Field Trip, Unwilling Ingredient, Environmental Sciences, Start from Scratch, Rutha, Mercurial Artist. For 1, a blue and a red, we've got a 1/4 Orc Shaman. Pay 2 mana, return Rutha, Mercurial Artist to its owner's hand. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Okay, that's not bad. That actually might find its way into my Is It Spellslinger deck. Thunderous Orator. For 1 generic and a white, we've got a 2/2 core wizard with vigilance. Whenever Thunderous Orator attacks, it gains flying until end of turn if you control a creature with flying. The same is true for First Strike, Double Strike, Death Touch, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, and Trample. So all your evergreen keywords. Okay. Oh, excuse me. I can see that being pretty alright in a Wooburg good stuff deck. Okay. You know what? Let's do the foil first, since the mythic rare is unknown. Shine Shadow Snarl. It's a rare land. It's a... I don't know how much the... It doesn't dictate how much the foil is worth. So I assume it's close to its standard cost, which is almost $2. As Shine Shadow Snarl enters the battlefield, you may reveal a Plains or Swamp card from your hand. If you don't, it enters tapped. Add 1 white or 1 black. That's a pretty good land, actually. I'm going to say that's a pretty good land. Okay, I'm going to put the Mythic aside. I'm actually going to put it on my lap, and I'm not going to look at it. Our Mystical Archive is Regrowth. 85 cents, just short. For 1 and a green, we've got a sorcery that lets you return target card from your graveyard to your hand. It's not too bad. I can see that finding its way into my Muldrotha deck. Okay. And then, what do we have here? Sorry for tapping the mic. Okay. Is this the... This is the right one. Extus, Auric Overlord. He's worth $1. For a mythic rare, that's a little lame. Okay, that's fine. Okay, for 1 generic, 1 white, and 2 black, he is a 2/4 human warlock with double strike. Magecraft, return target non-legendary creature card from your graveyard to your hand. It's pretty good. And on the flip side, we have Awaken the Blood Avatar. For 6 generic, a black and a red, we've got a sorcery that says as an additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. It costs 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. You make a 3/6 black and red avatar creature token with haste, and whenever this creature attacks, it deals 3 damage to each opponent. Okay, that's interesting. It's black, white, and red. It's a cool card. I like that. I'm shocked it costs so little. Weird. I ran out the music again. Weird. Here, let me just, Nope, that's wrong. Here. This'll work. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, no foil. Treasure token. Love treasure tokens. Damn it. Okay, there's our rare and our Mystic Arcanum. Square up. Bird up. Stonebound Mentor. For 1 generic, a red and white, we've got a 3/3 Spirit Advisor that says whenever one or more cards, period, leave your graveyard, scry 1. Make your mark. 1 Boros Hybrid mana for an instant that says target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. When that creature dies, create a 3/2 red and white spirit creature token. Okay. Pigment Storm, Tangle Trap, Spectre of the Fens. 3 generic and a black for a 2/3 Spectre with flying. For 5 generic and a black, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. It's pretty expensive. Stonerise Spirit, Frost Trickster, Fuming Effigy, Expanded Anatomy, Team Pennant. For 1 generic, it's an artifact equipment. With Equip 3, equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has Vigilance and Trample. You can equip a creature token for 1. Okay. Creative Outburst. For 3 generic, 2 blue and 2 red, you have an instant that deals 5 damage to any target. Look at the top 5 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Or you can pay 2 Hybrid Izzet mana to discard it and create a treasure token. And then Wormhole Serpent. Okay. Modal Double-Faced card. Augmentor Pugilist. Yeah, not worth anything. 1 generic and 2 green for a 3/3 Troll Druid with Trample that says as long as you control 8 or more lands, it gets +5/+5. So it can be a 3 mana 8/8. It's okay. 3 mana 8/8 with Trample can be good. Or Echoing Equation. For 3 generic and 2 blue, we've got a sorcery that says choose target creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of it until end of turn, except those creatures aren't legendary if the chosen creature is legendary. That can be a game-winning effect right there. If it's not countered. It's pretty cool, actually. Alright, Mystic Arcanum is Tendrils of Agony. Alright, not a big deal. Alright, for 2 generic and 2 black, we've got a sorcery that says target player loses 2 life, you gain 2 life, and it has Storm. Storm spells are broken, but this spell is not worth a whole lot of money, so I'm not worried about it. Plus, I don't play Storm. I mean, I probably should, but, you know, I like having friends. And if I grape shot a table, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have anyone playing with me anymore. And it's already hard enough to get people to sit down and play. Would you open, you motherfucker? Thank you. Holy hell. Garbage. There it is. Okay. I'm going to put those aside. There's no foil in this pack, I can tell you right now. Alright. Owlin Shield Mage, Agyar Battleseer, Quandrix Campus, Teach by Example. For 2 Hybrid Izzet mana, we've got an instant that says whenever you cast your next instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. I think that's definitely going in my Izzet deck. Arrogant Poet, Stonerise Spirit, Frost Trickster, first day of class, charge through, confront the past. Why does this happen? Double rares? That's weird. For X and a black, it's a sorcery lesson. It says choose one. Return target Planeswalker card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, or remove twice X loyalty counters from target Planeswalker and opponent controls. Yep, nope, not worth anything. Bookworm. For 7 generic and a green, you have a 7/7 worm. It has trample. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life and you draw a card. And then for 2 generic and a green, you can put it from your graveyard to the top of your library, into your library, third from the top. That's fine. Reconstruct History. Academic Dispute. For 1 red, it's an instant that says target creature blocks this turn of Fable. You may have it gain reach until end of turn, and learn. Cool. Alright. Let's see what our Mystic Arcanum is. we have Grape Shot, which is unfortunately only worth 56 cents, but there it is. Grape Shot for 1 and a red. Deals 1 damage to any target, and it has Storm. This spell has been broken since ages past. Okay. Okay, we're going to sleeve this preemptively. Okay, we have Mila, Crafty Companion, for 1 and 2 white. It is a 2/3 legendary creature. It's a fox. Whenever an opponent attacks 1 or more planeswalkers you control, put a loyalty counter on each planeswalker you control. Whenever a permanent you control becomes the target of a spell or ability or an opponent controls, you may draw a card. And Luca, Wayward Bonder. For 4 generic and 2 red, he is a 5 loyalty planeswalker. +1, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. If a creature card was discarded this way, draw 2 cards instead. For -2, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of your next upkeep. For -7, you gain an emblem with, whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. I like that one. It's shocked that's only like a buck. It's weird. All right. Garbage. Oh, jeez. Okay, no double-faced. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No foil. Mystic Arcanum. Rare. Silverquill Campus. Prismari Pledge Mage. Rise of Extus. Letter of Acceptance. Springmane Servant. Leech Fanatic. Pilgrim of the Ages. Pop Quiz. Sudden Breakthrough. Fractal Summoning. Igneous Inspiration. For 2 generic and a red, we've got a sorcery that says Igneous Inspiration deals 3 damage to any target, and you get to learn. Brackish Trudge. For 2 generic and a black, we've got a 4/2 Fungus Beast that says Brackish Trudge enters the battlefield tapped. For 1 generic and a black, you may return it from your graveyard to your hand. Activate only if you gained life this turn. Deadly Brew. For 1 black and 1 green, we have a sorcery that says each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If you sacrificed a permanent this way, you may return another permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Cool. Our rare is Tanazir Quandrix, one of the new Elder Dragons. Tanazir Quandrix is 3 generic, a green and a blue, for a 4/4 Elder Dragon. He has flying and trample. Or she has flying and trample. It has flying and trample. Let's try that one. When Tanazir Quandrix enters the battlefield, double the number of +1/+1 counters on target creature you control. Whenever Tanazir Quandrix attacks, you may have the base power and toughness of other creatures you control become equal to Tanazir Quandrix's power and toughness until end of turn. Okay, I'm building a deck around him. That's just kind of the end of that sentence. Alright. And then our Mystic Arcanum is going to be Counterspell. That's a pricey counterspell. Alright, for 2 blue, counter target spell. It's that simple. Alright. I'm going to try and hurry up here. I've got half an hour to finish. This should be a modal double-faced. Yep. Okay, well, there's a foil as well, I guess. It doesn't look like a good foil, but, okay, so I don't know how I'm gonna... So I'm gonna put Spiteful Squad on the back, because it's a modal double-faced foil. Mystic Arcanum, rare. Teach by Example, Thrilling Discovery, Arcane Subtraction, Blood Age General, Professor of Zoomancy, Professor's Warning, Pillar Drop Rescuer, Inkling Summoning, Mascot Interception. For 3 generic and a red, we've got a sorcery that says this spell costs 3 generic less to cast if it targets a creature token. Gain control of target creature until end of turn. Then tap that creature, it gains +2/+0 and has haste until end of turn. Fracture. For 1 white and 1 black, it's an instant that says destroy target artifact, enchantment, or planeswalker. Go Blank. For 2 generic and a black, it's a sorcery that says target player discards 2 cards, then exile all cards from that player's graveyard. It's not too bad. Our rare is Dramatic Finale. For 4 Orzhov hybrid mana. Yeah. No. It's an enchantment that says creature tokens you control gain +1/+1. Whenever 1 or more non-token creatures you control die, create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. This ability triggers only once per turn. Our Mystic Arcanum is Agonizing Remorse again. And then... Kien, Dean of Substance, foil. Yeah, not worth it. It is a 2 generic and 1 green 2/2 elf druid. You can tap it to exile the top card of your library. If it's a land card, put it into your hand. Otherwise, put a study counter on it. For 4 generic and 1 green, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put a +1/+1 counter on it for each different mana value among non-land cards you own in exile with study counters on them. And on the flip side, we have Ibrahim, Dean of Theory. For 2 generic and 2 blue, it's a 3/3 bird wizard with flying. For X and 2 blue, you may tap him and exile the top X cards of your library and put a study counter on each of them. Then you may put a card you own in exile with a study counter on it into your hand. It's okay. And then Spiteful Squad. Okay. Elemental token. Okay. Mystic Arcanum, rare. Witherbloom Campus, Witherbloom Pledge Mage, Cram Session, Resculpt, Heated Debate. Oh, Heated Debate. Wait a minute, I haven't seen this one yet. 2 generic and a red. It's an instant that cannot be countered, and it deals 4 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Just better than some of the other cards in the set. In common? Alright. Big Play, Novice Dissector, Beaming Defiance, Vortex Runner, Inkling Summoning, Grinning Ignis, Dueling Coach. For 3 generic and a white, it's a 2/2 human monk that says when Dueling Coach enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. For 4 generic and a white, you may tap it to put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Alright. And then Humiliate. 5 mana to put a +1/+1 counter on every creature with a +1/+1 counter on it. Sounds kind of mediocre. Our rare is Vanishing Verse. For 1 white and 1 black, it's an instant that exiles target monocolored permanent. Oh, shit. This card's worth $2.50. And then our Mystic Arcanum is Strategic Planning. For 1 and a blue, look at the top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. I hate when these are hard to open. Not every pack is built equal. This should be modal double-faced. Yep. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, there's a foil. So, foil, Mystic Arcanum, rare. Okay. Cogwork Archivist, Spectacle Mage, Quandrix Campus, Curate, Dragon's Approach, Mage Duel, Essence Infusion. For 1 and a black, put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature and it gains lifelink until end of turn. I think I read that one already, but that's still a pretty good card. Pillar Drop Rescuer for 4 generic and a white. We've got a 2/2 Spirit Cleric. Jesus Christ, a 5 mana 2/2 flyer. Oh, but when it enters the battlefield, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to your hand. Oh, to your hand? Variant Books. Introduction to Annihilation. Overgrown Arch. It is a 1 generic, 1 green, 0/4 plant wall with Defender. You may tap it to gain 1 life, or pay 2 and sacrifice it to learn. Rip Apart for 1 red and 1 white. It's a sorcery and you choose one. You deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker, or you destroy target artifact or enchantment. Okay. Our rare is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I miscounted. Alright, cool. Never mind. Not a foil. We've got Devouring Tendrils. It's 1 in a green for a sorcery that says target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. When the permanent you don't control dies this turn, you gain 1 life. Okay. This is our rare. Leonin Light Scribe for 1 and a white. It is a 2/2 cat cleric with Magecraft. Creatures you control gain +1/+1 till end of turn. It's 50 cents. It's fine. And our Mystic Arcanum is Snakeskin Veil. For 1 green, you put a +1/+1 target, +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, and it gains hexproof until end of turn. Okay. Getting down to the last of it here. It's looking like I'm not going to be doing the double masters today, but I am aiming at doing it Wednesday. Nothing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's count again to be sure, because clearly I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's a... Let's see. Yep, that's a foil at the back. Foil. Arcanum. Rare. Moldering Karak, Lorehold Campus, Owlin Shield Mage, Serpentine Curve, Illustrious Historian, Leyline Invocation, Lash of Malice. For 1 black, it's an instant that gives target creature +2/-2 until end of turn. Study Break, Environmental Sciences, Storm Kiln Artist for 3 generic and a red. It is a 2/2 Dwarf Shaman that gets +1/+0 for every artifact you control, and it has Magecraft that lets you make treasure tokens. This is fantastic. This is a great uncommon. 4 mana 2/2 is expensive, but giving you treasure tokens every time you cast a spell, it technically makes them 1 cheaper. Plus, it gives you all the treasure token payoffs. That's a pretty good card. Access Tunnel, Flunk. Okay. Our rare is Retriever Phoenix. It is for 3 generic and a red, it is a 2/2 Phoenix with flying and haste. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, you learn. And as long as Retriever Phoenix is in your graveyard, if you would learn, you may instead return it to the battlefield. That's a good learn payoff, actually, because I don't see myself using learn very often, so being able to pull the Phoenix back out of the graveyard instead, that'd be pretty good. Our Mystic Arcanum is Opt. We got one earlier. It's okay. And our foil is Curate. So, nothing super great in that pack, but Retriever Phoenix seems interesting. I'm surprised that it's not more powerful. Usually their Phoenixes are really, really, really strong. Okay. Modal double-faced. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this is another foil pack, right? Yep, that's a foil. Foil, Arcanum, rare. Prismari Pledge Mage, Rise of Extus, Letter of Acceptance, Waterfall Aerialist, Tome Shredder, Bayou Groff, Professor's Warning, Combat Professor, Expanded Anatomy, Prismari Apprentice, Containment Breach for 2 and a black. Oh, I've already done this one. You create pest tokens if you destroy a artifact or enchantment with mana value 2 or less. Just generally decent value. Academic Dispute. Our rare is Callous Blood Mage. For 2 and a black, it is a 2/1 Vampire Warlock. It says when Callous Blood Mage enters the battlefield. Yeah, okay. When Callous Blood Mage enters the battlefield, choose 1. You may create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token, or you may draw a card and lose 1 life, or you may exile target player's entire graveyard. Okay, so graveyard hate, plus being able to make a pest, plus being able to draw a card and lose 1 life. All of those are pretty good options. So for 3 mana, it's alright. Our Mystic Arcanum is Negate. For 1 and a blue, counter target non-creature spell. And our foil is Crushing Disappointment. Well, I am crushingly disappointed by this foil. Getting close to the end here. Okay. Fractal Token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No foil. Okay. Modal Double-Faced and Mystic Arcanum. Prismari Campus. Square Up. Blood Researcher. Defend the Campus. Waterfall Aerialist. Sudden Breakthrough. Bayou Groff. I've gotten like a dozen Bayou Groffs by this point. Essence Infusion. Eager First Year. Spirit Summoning. Returned Past Caller. Master Symmetrist. Clever Lumimancer. I pulled this one near the beginning, so I'm going to give myself a refresher on the text. For 1 white, it's a 0/1 human wizard that gets +2/+2 on your magecraft triggers. Still okay. For a white card, it's okay. Alright, let's see. Our modal double-faced is Torrent Sculptor. For 2 generic and 2 blue, it is a 2/2 merfolk wizard with ward 2. When Torrent Sculptor enters the battlefield, exile an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Put a number of +1/+1 counters on Torrent Sculptor equal to half of that card's mana value rounded up. That could be good. I can see that working if you've got big spells in your graveyard. And the other side is Flamethrower Sonata. So, hang on. Yeah, didn't think so. Not worth a whole lot. Don't have to worry about sleeving it. For 1 generic and 1 red, it's a sorcery that says discard a card and then draw a card. When you discard an instant or sorcery card this way, Flamethrower Sonata deals damage equal to that card's mana value to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. I feel like I'd be using the Torrent Sculptor half of this way more often. But that's not bad in general for modal double-faced. And then our Mystic Arcanum is going to be Thrill of Possibility. For 1 and a red, as an additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card and then draw 2 cards. Thrill of Possibility is just generically a pretty good card. Okay. Let's see, we're down to just a few here. There you go. Elemental creature token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No foil. Mystic Arcanum. Rare. Spiteful Squad. I think I've passed by this one a couple times. I don't think I've read this one yet. For 2 generic, a white and a red, we've got a 0/0 human warlock with Death Touch that enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. And when it dies, you get to put those counters on a target creature you control. That's not too bad. Teach by Example. Thrilling Discovery. Pillar Drop Rescuer. Curate. Dragon's Approach. Mage Duel. Crushing Disappointment. Ageless Guardian. Fractal Summoning. Maelstrom Muse. Bookworm. Test of Talents. For 1 generic and a blue, we have an instant that says counter target instant or sorcery spell. Search its controller's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that spell, and then exile them. That player shuffles, then draws a card for each card exiled from their hand this way. Okay, so you can just absolutely eviscerate someone's entire playset of a card if you're playing in a constructed format. Or, sorry, a non-singleton format. Okay, our rare is Dragon's Guard Elite. It is a 1 generic and 1 green for a 2/2 human druid with Magecraft. That lets you put a +1/+1 counter on it. For 4 generic and 2 green, you can double the number of +1/+1 counters on it. 6 mana to double the 1/1 counters. You'd have to have... Christ. Feels like you'd have to have 6 +1/+1 counters on it to make that feel worth it. There we go. Volume on that's up a little bit, so that way there's a little bit more sound in the background instead of just me blabbering on about nothing. Finally, our Mystic Arcanum card is Teferi's Protection. This is a $33 card. For 2 and a white, it is an instant that says, until your next turn, your life total cannot change, and you gain protection from everything. All permanents you control phase out, and then you exile this card. Beautiful. pack's a little funky. Garbage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so there should be a foil. There is. Foil. Mystic Arcanum. Rare. Campus Guide. Eureka Moment. Biomathematician. Arcane Subtraction. Enthusiastic Study. Reckless Amplimancer. Mage Hunter's Onslaught. Study Break. Introduction to Prophecy. Practical Research. For 3 generic, a blue and a red, we have an instant that lets you draw 4 cards and then discard 2 cards unless you discard an instant or sorcery card. Okay, that's pretty good. And this is about the twin planeswalkers. Kelpie Guide. For 2 generic and a blue, we've got a 2/2 beast that lets you untap another target permanent you control, or tap target permanent, activate only if you control 8 or more lands. That's pretty alright. Closing Statement. For 3 generic, a white and a black, we have an instant that costs 2 less to cast during your end step. Destroy target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Put a +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control. So if you cast this optimally, that's 3 mana to destroy something and give you a 1/1 counter. It's okay. It's pretty good, actually. It's a decent rate. Feels like a decent rate. I'd play that card. Our rare is Fury Calm Snarl. Which is $1.50. I presume all these snarls are about $1.50. I'm sorry, Go Blank is worth $2? Uh-oh. 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 Okay, I had a Go Blank just recently. Hang on a moment. Oh, the downside of not having anybody in your chat is nobody's there to yell at you when you do something stupid. There we go. And you know what? Now that I'm saying this, let me check. I'm sure there's more. Solve the equation. I don't think I've seen one of those yet. Dragon's Approach is $2. I've got 2 of those. What the hell kind of pricing is this shit? Stormkiln Artist is about $3. That made sense. I'm not... Should have probably... Damn it. Alright, I just need to pay more attention as I go on. Alright. You know, while I'm at it, let me check on Closing Statement. 25 cents. Yeah, not worth it. Okay. I'm just going to have to search up uncommons from this point forward. Our Mystic Arcanum is Defiant Strike. For 1 white, it's an instant that gives target creature +1/+0 until end of turn, and you get to draw a card. 1 white mana to draw a card. That's pretty good. And our foil is Returned Past Caller. which is fine. I'm curious if Return to Past color is worth anything, now that I've learned that Go Blank is worth something. It is not. It is not. Not every uncommon is worth something. In fact, most uncommons aren't worth anything, frankly. Treasure token. Love me a treasure token. A modal double-faced. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No foil. Mystic Arcanum. Oopsie. There's our rare. Needlethorn Drake. Archway Commons. Ogiar Battleseer. Silverquill Pledge Mage. Barian Books. Tome Shredder. Reckless Amplimancer. Mage Hunter's Onslaught. Star Pupil. Elemental Summoning. Mortality Spear. For 2 generic, green and a black, we've got an instant that costs 2 less to cast if you gain life this turn. Lice? If you gain life this turn, and you destroy target non-land permanent. So at optimal, it's a black and a green for a destroy target non-land permanent. So it's an Assassin's Trophy at best. Reflective Golem for 3 generic. It's a 2/3 golem that says whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets only Reflective Golem, you may pay 2. If you do copy that spell, you may choose new targets for the copy. So this is just a generic duplicator mage. And then Mage Hunter. We got one of these earlier. 3 generic and a black for a 3/4 that punishes Magecraft. Our rare is Ecological Appreciation. It's less than $1, but it's a mythic, so I'm gonna sleeve it anyway. Pay X, 2 generic and a green. It's a sorcery. To search your library and graveyard for up to 4 creature cards with different names that each have a mana value of X or less and reveal them. An opponent chooses 2 of those cards, shuffle the chosen cards into your library and put the rest onto the battlefield, exile this card. Yeah, I can see why that's not... I mean, it's a good card. That's a really good card, but I can see why that's not super expensive. And then our Mystic Arcanum is Crozen Grip. For 2 generic and a green. We have an instant that has Split Second that lets you destroy target artifact or enchantment. That's nice. Uncounterable, unstoppable artifact or enchantment hate. Can't even respond with it on the stack. That's pretty nice. Alright. Spirit Token. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, is there a foil? There is a foil. Okay, so foil. Mystic Arcanum. Oh, there we go again. Mystic Arcanum with a modal double-faced underneath. Okay, Make Your Mark. Stonebound Mentor. Biblioplex Assistant. Mage Hunter Onslaught. Study Break. Curate. Dragon's Approach, which is expensive for some reason, so I'm going to put that one aside. Mage Duel. Introduction to Prophecy, not Philosophy. Mortality Sphere. Sphere? Spear? I can talk, sometimes. Teen Pennant. Overgrown Arch. Okay. Our modal double-faced card. Ooh, you're not going to know what it is until I let you look at it. Is Valentine, Dean of the Vein. Who's not worth it? For 1 black, it's a 1/1 Vampire Warlock with Menace and Lifelink. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. When you do, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 1/1 black and green pest creature token. It's not too bad. And then Lizette, Dean of the Root, not Rot. For 2 generic and 2 green, it's a 4/4 human druid that says whenever you gain life, you may pay 1 generic. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, and those creatures gain trample until end of turn. That's a pretty good card. Not gonna lie to you. That seems like a pretty good card. Our Mystic Arcanum is Divine Gambit. For 2 white, it is a sorcery that says exile target artifact, creature, or enchantment an opponent controls. That player may put a permanent card from their hand onto the battlefield. It's not very good, but it could be good political play in a commander game. And our foil is... Oh my god. Okay, well I need to get my hands off of that card immediately. That is a foil Mystic Arcanum Chaos Warp. Alright. Foil etched goes for about $10. That is about a $10 card right there, fellas. Fellas. Alright, for 2 generic and a red, we've got an instant that says the owner of target permanent shuffles it into their library, then reveals the top card of their library. If it's a permanent card, they put it on the battlefield. That's a very pretty card. Foil Mystic Arcanum. I guess I knew that was possible, but I didn't expect to be able to get one. This has been a great box. I'm almost done with it, though. 4 packs left. Let's see if we can't pull out something crazy. Let's see if we can't get... What's the most expensive thing in here? I believe it's, yeah, Japanese Demonic Tutor. Let's see if we can get a Japanese Demonic Tutor. A foil Japanese Demonic Tutor. Chances are likely literally never. But that'd be really, really funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No foil. Oh, there's the Blood Avatar. Sorry, you guys can see what I see. There's the Blood Avatar with haste, and whenever it attacks, it deals 3 damage to each opponent. I have the card for that earlier. There's our Mystic Arcanum. There is our rare. Exhilarating Elocution, Spiteful Squad, Silver Quill Campus, Owlin Shield Mage, Star Pupil, Serpentine Curve, Illustrious Historian, Leyline Invocation, Lash of Malice, Inkling Summoning, Kelpie Guide, Closing Statement, and Dueling Coach. Our rare is Radiant Scroll Wielder. For 2 generic, a red and a blue, we have a 2/4 Dwarf Cleric. Scroll Wielder. Did I say Scroll Weaver? Okay. Instant and sorcery spells you control have lifelink. That's nice. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile an instant or sorcery card at random from your graveyard. You may cast it this turn. If a spell cast this way would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. That's a pretty good card. And our Mystic Arcanum is another Snakeskin Veil. A little bit of a womp moment, but that's okay. All right, I gotta wrap up real quick here. I'm running out of time. And then Wednesday at 6 p.m., give or take, I think. I'm going to be aiming at doing my Double Masters box. Inkling Token. I might actually have a better camera by that point, too. Just for my own sake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, is that a foil? That is a foil. Foil, Arcanum, rare. Lots of foils. Relic Sloth, infused with vitality. Eureka Moment, Twin Scroll Shaman. Skurrit Colony, Lash of Malice. Eager First Year. Soothsayer Adept. Elemental Summoning. Rip Apart. Mage Hunter. And Reflective Golem. Our rare is Ingenious Mastery. For X, 2 generic and a blue, we have a sorcery that says you may pay 2 generic and a blue rather than pay this spell's mana cost. If you paid 2 and 1 blue instead, you draw 3 cards, then an opponent creates true treasure tokens, and they scry 2. If the cost wasn't paid, you draw X cards. That's not a very good card. That gives a lot of advantage to your opponent. Okay. Our Mystic Arcanum is Day of Judgment. For 2 generic and 2 white, it's a sorcery that destroys all creatures. That is a $2.50 card. That's nice. It's a Wrath of God, isn't it? Isn't it identical cost? What's Wrath of God? Okay, Day of Judgment is technically worse than Wrath of God because it doesn't specify they can't be regenerated, even though regeneration is pretty slim pickings these days. Okay, and our foil is Spiteful Squad. Nothing crazy, nothing good. Alright, last 2 packs. Let's see if we can't get the finisher here. I'm wrapping up, I'm trying. Believe me, I did not expect this to take 3 hours. I thought I was going to be done an hour ago.
Okay, I'm just letting you know he's here.
This is all I got.
Okay.
Alright. This should be modal double-faced card. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, what the hell? Alright, this is another weird pack. I don't know why they keep doing this to me. Ogiar Battleseer, Quandrix Campus, Teach by Example, Essence Infusion, Pillar Drop Rescuer, Bury in Books, Blood Age General, Leyline Invocation, Crushing Disappointment. And then a mythic... I don't think this is extended art. Yeah, it's not. It's $1. I'll put a sleeve on it. Mascot Exhibition. For 7 generic mana, we have a lesson that says create a 2/1 white and black Inkling Spirit token, a 3/2 red and white Spirit. Create an Inkling, a Spirit, and an Elemental Creature token. Okay, that's pretty cool. Practical Research. Stormkiln Artist. Witherbloom Apprentice. Conspiracy Theorist. For 1 and a red, we've got a 2/2 Human Shaman that says whenever it attacks, you may pay 1 and discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Whenever you discard 1 or more non-land cards. You may exile 1 of them from your graveyard. If you do, you may cast it this turn. And our Mystic Arcanum is Thrill of Possibility for the 3rd time, I think. Thrill of Possibility is good, but three of them? I don't think I need 3 of them. Alright, last pack, and I gotta make it quick. Again, this was not supposed to be a 3-hour stream. This is supposed to be like 2 hours at most. Okay. Treasure token. No modal double-faced. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No foil. Arcanum, rare. Let's wrap this one out strong. Make Your Mark. Stonebound Mentor. Relic Sloth. Infuse with Vitality. Guiding Voice. Arcane Subtraction. Blood Age General. Professor of Zoomancy. Professor's Warning. Introduction to Annihilation. Honor Troll. Another Zimone. Solve the Equation, which is also expensive. Search your library for an instant or sorcery card. Reveal it. Put it in your hand. Then shuffle. It's a 3-mana tutor. I didn't think that would be expensive. Okay, our last rare is Blade Historian. I love Blade Historian. For 4 Boros hybrid mana, it's a 2/3 human cleric that gives attacking creatures you control double strike. I've already got one of these, but I really like him anyway. And our last Mystic Arcanum is Infuriate. Unfortunately, we picked our cool stuff earlier. But, hey, you know what? That's a pretty good pack. I think cumulatively I've made my money back on my box, considering all of these really good Mystic Arcanums. And all of these really shockingly good cards. Plus, you know, I got some fun commanders to work with now. So, we'll go from there. Alright, next time, I will be doing Double Masters. And, that'll be a lot of fun. So tune in for that. I'm aiming on doing that next Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, sorry. So 2 days from now, about 6 p.m. And we'll see where we go from there. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. This is going up on my YouTube channel. I'm going to see kind of how unboxings do in comparison to my regular streams. And I will see you guys when I tune in next time. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good rest of your day.